Thanks, Rita. Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Friday's Look North. On the programme tonight, parents criticise a council plan to cut the number of children being educated at home.
It isn't the fact that I'm electively home educating, it's the fact that the school system is not able to provide what my child needs. They are going to push children back into places that are damaging them and destroying them and breaking them.
We'll hear from a leading education lawyer who says targets set by Barnsley Council are unlawful. Also tonight, a motorhome and campervan overnight parking ban is made permanent on parts of the Yorkshire coast. Sheer brilliance, a springtime sculpture transforming a chapel and drawing in the flock. And a lunchtime legend, the dinner lady hanging up her apron after 37 years serving children lunches in York.
And after a cloudy and at times damp morning, it brightened up nicely this afternoon with some sunshine. But what about the weekend? Join me at the end of the programme to find out.
Hello there, good evening. Thanks for your company tonight. We start with a council plan to reduce the number of children being home educated that's been described as unequivocally unlawful by a leading education lawyer. Barnsley Council aims to cut home education numbers by 30% and is believed to be the only authority in England with a specific target. The council says it wants to ensure families have a suitable school option. But parents of children with special educational needs say they're worried that it will lead to children being forced into schools that aren't suitable. Sabia Pervez has our top story.
So today, girls, we're going to be looking at tree frogs.
Krista is one of more than 800 parents currently home educating their children in Barnsley. Up until 6 years ago, all 3 of her daughters were in mainstream schools. But during COVID, life changed dramatically.
I had to take my middle daughter out of school when she was in year 5 because she was hugely struggling at school, having massive meltdowns, very, very distressed and anxious, and it was having an impact on the whole family.
Ruth, Krista's daughter, is autistic and has multiple health conditions. When the family moved to Barnsley in 2020, Krista applied to schools locally and as far as Leeds, trying to secure Ruth a place with an education, health and care plan, outlining the support she needs, including being taught in a smaller group. How do you know school isn't the best place for your daughters?
We had 14 replies in the end. All of them said they couldn't meet her needs. It isn't the fact that I'm electively home educating, it's the fact that the school system is not able to provide what my child needs to thrive and grow and live and develop. It makes you feel like there's no one who can actually help you or your child.
Ruth recognises how much studying at home has helped her.
It was a struggle at first. I was still dealing with a lot of stuff that happened in school, but it's gone better these past few years and I've been a lot happier.
Soon after, Krista deregistered her other daughters from school, who are also beginning to struggle with their mental health. She says the experience has been transformative.
I've homeschooled my eldest through GCSEs and she's gone off to college, and I feel like we have a good system here at home now and I can see them progressing.
When you heard that Barnsley Council are planning to reduce home education by 30% over the next 2 years, what was your response?
I was really angry, because what they're effectively saying is they are going to push children, they deliberately want to push children back into places that are damaging them and destroying them and breaking them. We can't allow that to happen for our children.
You right?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, not bad. What you been up to?
On the other side of Barnsley, I meet Kerry, a hairdresser and mum of 3. She began home educating her 14-year-old son Kyle last year when the needs set out on his education, health and care plan couldn't be met by his secondary school.
It was hard because to go to that school every day and to see your son not happy, he'd got no friends, he was on his own. It's a battle that we shouldn't have to be fighting. It's a battle that no parent should have to be going through. I feel like Kyle, like no, they don't want him. And for Kyle, it's like, it's mentally destroyed him as well.
Kerry says the secondary school Kyle was at couldn't help him and she was advised to look elsewhere.
I got rejected from 5 other mainstream schools for Kyle, saying that they couldn't meet his need. I had no other option. It wasn't a choice that I wanted to make by homeschooling my son. I wanted my son to be in education.
Barnsley has one of the highest rates of home education in England. Latest government data suggests that parents here are making that decision because they're not satisfied with schools or are concerned about their children's mental health. But as we've heard, special educational needs is also a contributing factor. In public documents, Barnsley Council have said it's facing an urgent and increasing pressure on its SEND provision, with the number of children awaiting specialist placements more than doubling between July 2024 and July 2025, from 55 to 121. We asked Barnsley Council why it wants to reduce home education and how it plans to meet its target. The local authority declined our request for an interview, but did say in a statement the 30% home education target is not aimed at parents, but at improving how schools and the council support children. The council acknowledges parents' right to educate at home and says its goal is to ensure it's done everything possible to prevent families feeling that home education is their only option. But for Kerry and Krista, this is their reality. Now they wait to see if and how the system will change and whether it can fill the gaps they've been forced to navigate alone. Sabir Pervez, BBC Look North, Barnsley.
We're going to talk a little bit more about this. Michael Charles is the education solicitor who's called Barnsley Council's policy unlawful. I spoke to him earlier and asked him why he had that view.
Because the law requires an analysis and an assessment of the child's needs, not if you like, a number. You can't just say, well, actually, in this local authority area, we will have X number of young people who will be home educated. You must start by analysing what the child needs. The test is suitability, not statistics.
So when the council announced this policy, it mentions safeguarding risks for some children who are home educated because they go off radar and aren't checked in by schools or authorities. Has the council got a point here?
Well, safeguarding powers already exist where there are concerns, but the issue is treating all of the same people in the same way. I mean, you don't start with the presumption that there's a safeguarding issue. You start with the presumption of evaluating what the child needs, not what the local authority says the statistics need to secure.
What might the consequences be for the council here if parents are taking issue with it?
Well, ultimately, if the court were to find that that was a policy that's actually overriding an assessment of young people's needs, the court could strike that policy down. It could quash the decisions that the council are making because it would be not lawful, because, as I say, you must be looking at suitability, not statistics. I mean, there's a increasing concern we're seeing along with the narrative issued by various councils and the government these days, which is about really the direction of travel is to shifting the responsibility from parents to the state. In other words, the state knowing what's best for the child. That's not how the law works.
We are seeing in some countries flexi schooling where children are part-time at school, part-time home educated. Do you see that as being a system moving forward in this country?
Well, I suppose it's possible. I mean, it depends on what young people need. I mean, ultimately, no child is really the same. They're unique, and some children can cope with going to school, some children can't. Some people might have good reason for not going to school, and others may not have such a good reason. But the starting point is to assess what those reasons are and evaluate what the risks are. But we should not be moving from a rights-based approach to a resource-led decision-making, which is what we seem to be seeing at the moment. This is not really about numbers. It's about whether the system is still respecting the rights of children and their families.
Michael Charles, thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We're going to move away from this now, and a second teenager has appeared in court charged with attempted murder after a stabbing in Sheffield. The 17-year-old was arrested in Woodhouse after a 14-year-old boy was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. A second 17-year-old, also charged with attempted murder, appeared before magistrates early this week. Police say the victim is now recovering well. Plans to introduce the first fixed and average speed cameras in North Yorkshire have progressed after money was allocated for them today. A £456 million funding settlement for transport projects in the county over the next 4 years was agreed at a meeting. It includes £2 million for the cameras. Last year, a fixed camera introduced as part of a trial was knocked over just hours before it was due to be switched on. You are watching Friday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. Go Dragons! We meet the latest Yorkshire basketball team shooting for glory. But before that, a ban on motorhomes and campervans parking overnight on parts of the Yorkshire coast has been made permanent. The temporary restrictions were introduced by North Yorkshire Council in 2024, and that was in response to concerns about overcrowding, antisocial behaviour and litter as well. Well, at a meeting today, they heard that it's been a success, but some are worried that it could have a negative impact on tourism, as Seb Chia reports.
This is Scarborough's North Bay, where come summer, dozens of campervans will be lined up along the seafront. But overnight, they've got to find somewhere else to go because of an overnight parking ban brought in because of complaints from locals.
You couldn't even get a parking space, it was full of people. The chairs, discarded barbecues, cans of beer, overnight, music blaring, sitting out.
I can't see what difference it makes whether they park here overnight or not.
It doesn't matter, does it? They're not interfering with us.
I've been speaking to people in some of the motorhomes as well. Some say that it gives them a sense of adventure and freedom to be able to park up overnight, and that more places should be available to stay for free. Others say that it's actually just a few people who are doing bad things, making everyone look bad. Some say that if there were facilities available, they would pay for them. This motorhome belongs to Richard, who often parks up here during the day, but heads out of town at night.
The facilities abroad are a lot more welcoming for for people with vans. But in the UK now it's getting very, very tough. Tourists are coming in on the cars, they're leaving litter all over, so it's not just people with vans.
A few miles south, in Southcliffe, residents say they've seen a massive rise in vans parking up outside their houses since the temporary ban was introduced.
Whilst tourism is to be encouraged, it isn't really that favourable when it's right on your doorstep, blocking the views that we've paid for to live in our homes, and also taking our parking spaces, which we actually have to pay for the privilege of. I'm a campervan owner myself, and I don't do this sort of thing. Despite one trial being abandoned after signs were vandalised in Caton Bay, it was deemed a success in North Bay and at Sands End near Whitby, but it's divided opinion among local politicians.
We've certainly seen a significant increase in the last few years where we've had to take some steps to try and manage it. Unfortunately, there's probably been some unintended consequences where there's been displacement into other residential streets, and we will attempt to deal with that.
Ultimately, I think that the readings is that Scarborough, on the whole, will have a town-wide campervan ban. And for me, that is sending out entirely the wrong message.
It's thought we won't know if this has impacted tourism for a number of years. Seb Chia, BBC Look North, Scarborough.
Let's have a look now at some of the stories from around the region on the BBC News app. A company in Leeds has been fined £16,000 after 2 workers lost fingers in machinery in separate incidents 10 days apart. A Wakefield councillor has warned of the dangers of AI images in the run-up to the local election after a adopted image of him was used to give the impression that he supported a housing development. And a £30 million scheme to regenerate parts of Selby has been delayed after concerns about the possible presence of bats. And you can get more on those stories and everything else that's happening in our region by downloading the BBC News app. Now we have a real treat, twice in a week. Hello, Sally.
As always.
So what do we owe this? Well, I'm not normally here on a Friday, so...
It's new to you.
New to me.
Thank you, Amy. Let's turn to sport because Yorkshire's basketball teams are having a moment. Last weekend, the Sheffield Hatters won the SLB Women's Cup, and this weekend, the Yorkshire Dragons are hoping to lift some silverware of their own as they face Birmingham Rockets in the BCB Trophy Final. The Dragons recently rebranded, and Paul Ogden has been to meet some of the fresh new faces.
Hello, my name is Jack Milkey. I'm a professional basketball player from Chicago, Illinois, out in the United States. I play power forward here for the Yorkshire Dragons.
My name is Jordan Jefferson. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and a point guard for the Yorkshire Dragons.
My name is Logan Rooney. I play wing here for the Yorkshire Dragons, and I am from California.
Yorkshire Dragons, including some very un-Yorkshire voices. The overseas element in a team enjoying a great season in the men's second division, the British Championship Basketball League. Rooney, Milkey and last weekend's 22-point star player Jordan Jefferson have all arrived in Halifax this year to be part of the Dragons' fresh start, a broader Yorkshire identity for 2026. From training headquarters at Calderdale College, the Dragons have a community-driven mission statement to empower young people through basketball.
Everybody's just been really, really phenomenal. I've really enjoyed being out here.
How many times have you noticed people turn their heads a little bit if they hear your voice in the supermarket in Halifax? Where's he from?
I had a conversation with somebody the other day while I was strolling through town. They heard me talking and then they asked where I was from, why I was here. It stands out a little bit for sure, but it's always fun to have those conversations.
I'd say probably once or twice a day somebody asks where I'm from, especially Ubers. I feel like I get in a lot of conversations with Uber drivers. Yeah.
The truth is that Logan Rooney is something of a veteran living with us here up north. He played and studied in Newcastle before coming to Yorkshire, where he's now surrounded even by English teammates who commute from outside our region to play for the Dragons. Tomorrow, the Dragons face Birmingham Rockets in the BCB Trophy Final in Nottingham, with a place in the end-of-season playoffs already on the horizon. Paul Ogden, BBC Look North, Halifax.
Now, is the tide turning for the Tigers? Castleford won their second Super League game of the season, beating Bradford by 40 points to 28. The Bulls got off to a fast start and were first on the scoreline with a try from Eason Masters inside 100 seconds. But it was Jason Garry who inspired the Tigers' turnaround with a superb run down the left to complete his hat-trick. The win moves Castleford to 11th in the table. Wakefield Trinity have announced a big name signing this afternoon. The legendary NRL player Roger Tuivasa-Sheck will join them from next season on a 2-year deal. Sheck amassed more than 230 appearances in the Australian top flight, winning the NRL Grand Final with the Sydney Roosters, and also played for New Zealand Warriors and the All Blacks. He said he's looking forward to the move to Super League with Wakefield. Quite the coup for them, that. And Wakefield are in Super League action tonight up against the York Knights. There's full match commentary on BBC Local Radio. With that and more, here's BBC Radio York's David Ward.
We've got 4 commentaries for you on BBC Radio York this weekend, starting with Rugby League tonight, the York Knights against Wakefield Trinity. Kick-off is at 8 o'clock and it's available on all our platforms. Then tomorrow it's football all the way. At 12:30, the early kick-off sees Harrogate Town taking on Notts County. A win for Town could take them out of the bottom 2 in the EFL for the first time in months. Then at 3 o'clock on our FM frequency, it's York City against Woking. City could go back top of the National League. And Scarborough Athletic against Chorley on DAB. That's all to come in the next 24 hours on BBC Radio York.
Plenty to look forward to then this weekend. That's your sport for now, Amy.
Thank you. Back Monday, as always.
As always.
Oh, good. We'll look forward to that one. Now, I know Sally is partial to a nice woolly jumper. I like a sheepskin rug. Wool has got thousands of uses, hasn't it? And humans have been using them forever for insulation, carpets, clothing. Well, now an artist is using them in a very novel way at the Yorkshire Sculpture Park. Nicola Turner's work goes on display tomorrow, and she's been telling Kathy Killick all about it.
A growth, a creature, and is it malignant or benign?
Time's Scythe, a work by artist Nicola Turner, defies labels. Even what it's made of is mysterious, but luckily the artist is happy to explain.
So I collect wool, and there is a bit of horsehair in it from old mattresses, and I collect it and then create tendrils that then I can shape on site, and I kind of twist and weave them together.
The tendrils start on the outside of St Bartholomew's Chapel in the grounds of the Yorkshire Sculpture Park. They then seem to ooze down the belfry tower and into the chapel. Installing the work has been technically complicated, but the finished impression is that the sculpture somehow got there all by itself.
Well, for me, this artwork is full of contradictions. It's soft, but looks hard. It's creepy, but also faintly comical. It's dead, but seems alive. You end up not knowing what to think, which is a good thing, because you can think what you like.
People often ask me, what is it? And they sometimes try and say, oh, I think it's a certain animal or something. You know, I'm fascinated to hear what people's responses are. They tell me stories of their childhoods, their dreams, their nightmares, the things you see out of the corner of your eye. So I think this kind of ambiguous shapes actually kind of connects to our unconscious. And I felt the shears could almost be like claws kind of reaching and yearning towards the light at the end of the chapel space. And also a lot of the shears I've collected over the years have Made in Sheffield stamped on them, so that's very local to where we are. And I just like the sharpness against the softness of the wool.
As well as the shears, most of the wool was locally sourced, with some of it coming from the sheep in the park itself. And some of Nicola's tendrils were also used in the new film of Wuthering Heights, taking over the Earnshaw's house as a form of decay. This new work, her first using pale colours, is here until September, so plenty of time to plan a visit. Cathy Killick, BBC Look North, the Yorkshire Sculpture Park.
Gosh, that's impressive, isn't it? Lots of jumpers to make after that art exhibition's over as well. Now, it has been a very big day at Acombe Primary School in York, where their longest-serving dinner lady has hung up her apron. Pauline Maud has been serving lunches since the late 80s and has seen quite a few changes. Tom Ingle went to meet Pauline and the children, who love her dinners.
Look at that. Thank you. You're welcome.
37.5 years. That's a lot of baked beans Pauline Maud has ladled over the counter.
You go and eat it all up then? Yeah, OK. Right from the infants and coming in, you just know what they like and what they don't like. So you don't go to put something on the plate when they'll go, you know. I mean, I've been serving some of these children's mums and dads and their mums and dads.
Do you mind me calling you a dinner lady? Someone has said I should just call you a lunchtime supervisor.
No, I'm a dinner lady. That's what I'm known at.
She's just like really nice, a happy person. She's a very nice dinner lady. She's always kind to me. She always says, "How are you today?"
All right, darling. Thank you. You're welcome.
Did you ever have to serve pink custard, or is that a myth?
I made it. Yeah.
You made pink custard?
I made pink custard. I have made green custard. I have made pink custard, green custard, mint custard with chocolate sponge. Regional processed food now. It's all fresh. Vegetables, potatoes, meat. We've got good quality meat from a good quality butchers.
Dinners are always really nice. They're really filling. They're always warm, like they're never cold. They're tasty.
What's your favourite meal that's on the menu here?
The Wednesday roast.
That's your hit, is it?
That's it, yeah. Everybody gets on with everybody. The children are lovely, and I know everybody says it. The school is amazing. Teachers, staff, everybody's just so friendly.
And lunchtime is the hub of that, where everyone comes together.
Yeah.
She's been absolutely instrumental in the quality of the dinners that we provide for the children, giving them warm, healthy, nutritious lunches, and we've seen the numbers rise of uptake of dinners, probably almost threefold in the time.
If you're having a bad day, you just see her smile, it'll just make you way better. I'm really gonna miss her. She's really nice.
On the last day, we're doing a big assembly for her, a big presentation. The children are going to write some kind words about her, and we'll probably all be in floods of tears.
Why are you hanging up your apron after 37 years?
I just think it's time. I just know it's time. I'm tired now. I just need a little bit of time for myself, thank you.
Pauline has no regrets, though she probably won't miss the washing up. Maybe it's time for someone to treat her to a meal. Tom Ingle, BBC Look North, York.
Well done, Pauline. I can't imagine you're going to miss washing up all those pots, are you? Favourite school dinner, Keely?
I took a pack up. I was a geek.
Oh no, wait a minute, we're not on weather yet. This is testament to the fact I don't normally work Fridays, isn't it? Have a look at this. Children forming a guard of honour for Pauline. Oh, there we go. As she finished work for the final time today. Isn't that lovely? Oh, have a wonderful retirement, Pauline. I'm sure they'll all miss you. And now we can hear about Keely having pack-ups.
The moment everybody's waiting for.
You had pack-ups back in the 80s?
Yeah, I didn't go to school in the 80s. I'm not that old.
Oh, I am. Mine was ravioli, in case you're wondering.
Oh, nice. Very cultured.
Right, tell us about the weather.
Yes, I will do. It actually turned out quite nice today, didn't it? A real mixed bag for the weekend, though. Sometimes it's going to look like this. This was this morning. We had a lot of cloud. There was some rain and drizzle about. So a bit of a disappointing start to the day, but it did brighten up nicely. We got plenty of sunshine. And I can't remember, Scout. Can you think of the name of this one? No, you're the wrong person to ask, aren't you?
Why do you think
at some point. We don't normally work Fridays. Right, key pictures coming in to the Weather Watchers page, or we're on social media as well, Keely.Donovan on Instagram. So tomorrow, probably best summed up as sunshine and showers. Most of the showers in the morning, with most of the sunshine coming through during the afternoon. And right across the weekend, temperatures are going to be a little bit disappointing. So some showers tomorrow morning, brighter for the afternoon. And then this weather system moves through on Sunday, so wet and windy for a time. Next week generally looks a little bit quieter as we go through the next few days. So as we go through this was the satellite picture from earlier, you can see how it brightened up nicely. We reached double figures, 13.5 degrees at the top of the Vale of York, so it wasn't a pleasant afternoon. A few showers out there at the moment, and they may well come and go through this evening and overnight, but also some good clear spells and a chilly night, perhaps the odd wintry shower out there as temperatures drop back to around 2 or 3 degrees. So just watch out for some icy stretches on untreated roads and pavements. Let's take a quick look at those high water times then. In Filey at 12:46 tomorrow and just gone at 3 o'clock in Bridlington. So cloud and showery rain quickly spreading through during tomorrow morning. The odd wintry shower because it is going to be a chilly start, but you can see it brightens up nicely with some spells of sunshine. Temperatures still a little bit disappointing for the time of year, 9 or 10 degrees, rain pushing through. On Sunday, no one got back to me on what that reservoir was called.
Well, they might do. I think that programme went really smooth,
Did
don't you?
you?
Yeah. Well, that is it from us. You'll be pleased to hear Amanda will be back next week. But that's it from us. And Claire Frisbee is here with your late news at 10:30 tonight. Bye-bye.